Hi everyone and welcome back to another video of jPlay. I already announced it that I'm planning to do a full playthrough video again, and as you can see I will do a playthrough session of Tales of the Arabian Nights. As I've never played this game before, you really have to consider it as some kind of learning experience for myself, and I decided to go with a solitaire version of this game, which you can download from the Seaman Games website. The core mechanic for the solitaire game is not really different from the multiplayer game. The winning conditions are, of course, so you have to fulfill your normal destiny and story formula. I think I will go for 10 and 10 as I've never played this game before. I don't have any clue what I'm doing there. You have to gain the fabulous wealth. This is already not so easy because you have to have a treasure and you have to have the princely wealth level and you have to complete 2 quests. Additionally, you have to do this before you finish the deck. Of course, there are some special rules, you have to read it for yourself. Every time you draw from the encounter deck, you have to draw 2 cards instead of only 1, but then you can choose which one you want and you have to discard the other card. Accordingly, this helps to speed up to go through the deck actually, of course. As I'm usually playing with blue, I decided to go with Sinbad, and I remember there was this nice cartoon series from my childhood with this nice cute little Sinbad, so I think that's the perfect fit for you. It's really not that similar, I have to confess. The Sinbad I remember looked a little bit different, but I think you get the picture. I already prepared most of the decks, so we have a huge pile of status cards. There are 2 decks for the status cards. I think this is something I take care of as soon as I draw a status. Then we have the quest deck, which I already shuffled with. The treasure deck, I also gave them a shuffle, and the encounter deck. And as you can see right now, we are in the morning. You can decide freely which formula you want to follow. If you want to have more story or more destiny points, I just made it simple and say I want to have 10 and 10. So to be honest, I'm not sure if this is the story point or this is the encounter points, but as both of them shows the number 10, it really doesn't matter. These are my starting skills, and I really look for skills that I would imagine would match to Sinbad, so I think he's a pretty lucky guy. I think wilderness law could also apply to any seafaring encounters, and we also have stealth and stealing, so I think to deal with some level of piracy, I think this should really be a good fit. They start all at the talent level, so as you might know the game, there's also a backside for these coins, the master level, but of course we start at the talent level of each of these skills. Right now I'm a pretty poor sailor, so my wealth level is here at poor, which allows me to travel 3 spaces on land and or 2 spaces on sea. The next thing to do is to draw ourselves our quest card, and as I already explained to you, the solitaire variant requires to complete 2 of these quests, so this is really our very first one, and it's called A Dream of Witches. You are awakened after a strange dream in which you are told to go far away city where you will find a greater treasure. Roll a die, unaffected by any statuses, to determine the city in your dream. I will do that in a second. Once you complete an encounter in that city, you meet a long-lost relative who tells you of the riches your dead father used to have and you had never known about. That night, the dream comes again, telling you to return to your home in Baghdad. Confused and a little angry for having made such a long journey, you decide to follow the dream to its conclusion. Okay, the next thing to do is to roll our die, which I will do now. That's a 6, so our quest would start in Herat. So I think I will place my origin marker here, and as the quest card already told me, I have to place the destination marker here to Baghdad, but of course still I have to make it to Herat to fulfill the first step of this quest. Okay, I think we are really ready to start it. I will explain everything as we go. Of course, as I mentioned, I have to learn it myself. So please make me aware of any mistakes as soon as possible. Right now I have a movement of 3 and 2, 3 for land, 2 on sea. So my maximum reach would be 3 spaces, of which the maximum would be 2 sea spaces. And I think I really want to take care about this quest here. So I will move 1, 2, 3 spaces to this field here, and now I have to draw my first encounter card. And this encounter card is a city card. There are three types of encounter cards in this game: the city card, a character card, and terrain card. In this case, we've drawn a city card, and the difference for this city card is it's not getting discarded. We are allowed to keep that, and whenever we come to Bulgars here, we can roll the die to see what additional things would happen. What's important for this encounter now is the little number that's shown on the bottom of this card here, and this says paragraph 59. So we would open the Book of Tales and go to paragraph 59. The next thing to do is to roll a 6-sided die. That's a 5. That's already not a good start. Then we would add the number printed inside the gem or city icon your character is on. Right now that's a 2. Now we are already at a value 7, so 5 plus 2 is 7. We would add additional points if we would have reached a certain level of destiny points, which we don't have. So in this case we land on this 7 here, and this says dark creatures, and we have to go to the reaction matrix J. And as we've encountered dark creatures, we have to go to this row here, dark, and these are our possible reactions. So we could pray, we could study, we could capture, we could attack, we could follow, aid, seek aid, or hide. And I think really I will be trying to capture these dark creatures. So I will say, okay, I want to capture the dark creatures. So we theoretically, we would now have to check for this paragraph 2433, but not so fast. We still have our destiny die. So this could add or subtract one of these points. So let's roll that. So in this case we roll 0, so we keep it directly at this level here. If I would have any mastery in any talents, then there would be a possibility that I could choose my paragraph to read, but in this case I don't have any master skills, so I have to live with exactly this paragraph here. And I've already found my paragraph to read. For 3 nights you have pursued a beast so black you can see it only when you are not looking directly at it. You resolve to capture the creature, that you might learn more about it. Okay, that was the basic text which you have to read. Now we would check if there are any skills I would meet. So we have a no skill. This is the result you would do if you would have any skills that might matter in this test. But I will look down here, and here we see luck, wilderness, and law, and I think I will use it. So I will read this section now. So I will use my wilderness law talent in order to progress here. You trick the beast by not pursuing it, luring it closer and closer to your fire. When it lures too close, you leap upon it and bind it with a rope. It is like a cat with shimmering black fur, and such a curious creature will surely fetch a fine price to a collector. Doesn't look bad. And now we check what our reward would be. In this case, we get 1 destiny point, 1 story point, and it would increase our wealth level by 1, but we could reach the maximum level of rich in this case. Everything fine, so we already gained our first destiny point, our first story point, and we increased our social status up to respectable. This means I could now move 4 land spaces, and this is already awesome. Additionally, I'm allowed to keep this city card, so whenever I make it to Bulgars, which is actually not too far away from our current position, we might gain an additional bonus there as well. And I already noticed that I've made my first mistake. Of course, I should have drawn 2 encounter cards and choose 1, so I would just draw the second encounter card. Oh, and here we would have a character encounter, a nice young enchantress. Okay, unfortunately I'm not able to meet her, at least not during the morning time. But I think this should be it. This was our very first turn. And I also noticed I really should have used these quest markers here, so I will place the quest markers on Herat and on Baghdad instead of these origin and destination tokens. I think they're being used for something else, or maybe for different quests here, but I think for this we will use these quest icons here. Let's move on to the second round. We are allowed to move 4 land spaces here, so we will definitely be able to make it to Herat, and this would be 1, 2, and 3. Still, again, we have to face an encounter there. And this time I remember to draw 2 encounter cards. We have to discard one of those. The elephant looks kind of aggressive. I don't want to deal with him, so I will go for this city card here. Again, we have to check our paragraph, and this would be paragraph 74. I have to mention that there is an awesome web application out there that will help you a lot to find these appropriate reaction matrices and so on. But I think for the sake of this video, I will stay what's printed in the book here, as I don't want to fill my iPad, to be honest. So I'm really staying where I'm at. So this is the paragraph. Again, we have to do our dice roll here. So that's only a 1. We have to add 2 because Harad also shows a 2, so we are at 3. We only have 1 destiny point, so we don't have to add anything for that. So this would bring us here to this lovesick maiden with a reaction of L. So here's L, and we have here the lovesick maiden. Again, we can attack, aid, rob, avoid, barter, honor, court, abduct, or hire her. I think, as we missed the enchantress, and this is a character of the opposite sex, I would really try to court her. So we would move to the section A22 of the storybook. And your words. She replies, "You are kind, but it can never be. I have a lover at sea, torn from me by cruel fate, and her cruel parents, his cruel parents. If you love me, help me to join my lover." Again, I have to check for any skills. So we have the no skill, we have appearance with our mandatory skills, seduction. I think mandatory skills are not going to happen in the solitaire variant, so but I don't have appearance or seduction. I don't have quick thinking, so I have to check the no skill section here. Stung by rejection, but driven by pride, you press your suit. The frustration and humiliation is too much to bear, yet she does not waver from his devotion, and you must leave before the sorrow tears you apart. Again, I would gain 1 story point, choice of loose appearance or loose seduction. Luckily, we don't have that at this point in time, but we would gain a status effect, grief stricken. Let's do the positive part first. So we would gain an additional story point. And then we come to the not so nice part, and this is the status card with this grief stricken. The tragedy you have undergone has left you with a broken heart and tears in your eyes. You are unable to eat or sleep due to your overwhelming grief. While grief status, you may not use any talent skill 11s during encounters. Map. Master level skills may only be used at talent level. If you spend 2 destiny points and have the storytelling skill, I could give it to another player. We don't have any other players. I can lose it whenever I reach a total story point value of 8 or more. And if I would become grief stricken with 8 or more story points, I must score 1 additional story point to lose this status. And that's really a problem, as I'm just starting with 2 story points at this point in time. So I need 6 additional story points to lose this status, unless I can use my talents again. Wow, that's really a tough start. Nevertheless, I'm allowed to keep this city card as well. So this would be Lyon, which is far to the west of Baghdad here. Not sure if I will ever make it there. I can remove this first quest token here. So I have taken care of the first quest in Herat. And now I'm really thinking to move to Bulgars here in order to give away one of my city cards here. And I think I should nearly be able to make it 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I will make it there in 2 turns. And then from Bulgars, I will move down to Baghdad and fulfill my first quest. Okay, let's get started. So I will move 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces to this field here, and again we have to draw ourselves our encounter cards. Again, I remember to draw 2 encounter cards, and we have this not so nice looking Dandan here. I don't want to face him, but I really want to go and check out the magnetic mountain. As we are on a mountain field, we can directly jump into the special reaction skill matrix for N. And there we have the magnetic mountain. I can avoid it, I can pray, I can tag, bargain, examine, enter, seek aid and aid. And to be honest, I'm so stricken with grief, I'm really feeling like praying here. So I will check out the 2101 section and read the paragraph accordingly. Tales have reached your ear of a magical mountain that endangers all who venture near it. Yet, the only safe pass through these mountains will take you directly past it, and the food in your caravan must reach the far side before those who live beyond succumb to the deep famine there. But you can find no one learned enough to tell you the way to pass in safety. For 3 days you pray for Allah to show you the way. Finally, you will collapse from exhaustion. I can jump directly to the no skill paragraph because I'm not allowed to use any skills in this point in time. So let's check it out. Your chief drover wakes you in the early morning. A returning caravan from the lands beyond the magnetic mountains has reached your camp. The leader of the other caravan is happy to tell you the route he has found. It is much longer, but easily traveled in safety. So that's a story point of 1. Again, we're coming close to losing the status, but not quite. So we come to 3 story points, which brings us an additional wealth level. We cannot exceed respectable at this point in time. We're already at this respectable level, so we don't gain any points here for that. But at least we are coming closer to losing our status. Okay, all the brain hasn't helped. We are still stricken by grief. So maybe in the city of Bulgar someone will be able to help us. So we will move 1 space to Bulgars here. This is a level 4, so that's a little bit more dangerous. We draw our 2 encounter cards, and I don't care about volcanoes anymore, so I won't bother with the prince in this point in time. What can happen that's worse than being rejected by this mate? So we will check out. We are in the city location, so that's 24. We have to roll our die. Oh, that's a 6. We have to add 4 points to that because we are at Bulgars. Bulgars is relatively dangerous, so that adds up to 10. And with the wicked vizier. The very last row shows wicked. We could honor, attack, avoid, aid, rob, follow, question or pray. Maybe we should really question the vizier, but he's so wicked. Should we really question a wicked one? Aid, attack, honor. We are so desperate. We want to question the vizier, so that's 1023. And this one is plain and simple. You ask to see the vizier of the land, but your request is denied, but we gain 1 destiny point. So we are already at 2 destiny points as well. Okay, we had our encounter in Bulgars, then we have to take care about our city card here. And again, we have to roll 1 6-sided die. That's a 4, so we check out the 4, and this is awesome. Receive 1 treasure. In this case we will just draw 1 treasure at random, and we have drawn the sparkling spear. The sparkling spear is feared by the jinn, as it has the power to destroy them despite their great magic. In any encounter with an Ifrit, you may ignore the result at the cost of 1 destiny point, of course after seeing the award paragraph. Also many paragraphs branch on this treasure. This treasure has a value of 1, which is awesome because we are now at the next wealth level with this one, as long as we have this card, and this is our only possibility to get to the fabulous wealth level, and this is one of our winning conditions. We could sell it for 1 wealth level, but we cannot go beyond the respectable level which we are at this point in time. For now we keep it, of course, and then we want to continue our journey and want to go to Baghdad to solve our quest here. I have to admit I forgot to use the destiny die, I think at least twice, so I'm very sorry for that. I really will try to remember for the next encounters. Promise. Okay, we are still allowed to move 4 spaces on land, so that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. But still we have to draw ourselves the 2 encounter cards. We have a city card here, and here we have the war fleet. We are sailors. Guess which card we will be facing, so we will take care of this war fleet here. We are at this emerald space here, so we have to check for paragraph 55. We roll our die as usual. That's 2. There is nothing printed on the board. We don't have to add any because of our destiny points. So we are facing a lost soldier. So we have the lost row here, and as we are so alone because we have not managed to court the maid before and we are still grief stricken, I will try to hire this guy. So he is lost, so we have to check for 8 to 9. This time I will remember to roll the destiny, that's a plus. So instead of the 8 to 9, we will check 830. The sailor agrees to work for you. Over time you realize the sailor is talkative, very talkative, incessantly talkative. Finally, you conclude that you must dismiss him if you are ever to get anything done. So we gain 1 destiny point and we gain a new talent, and this is wisdom. Unfortunately, we cannot use it at this point in time, but you never know, we might be able to lose this condition here, hopefully as soon as possible. It seems we are again alone on our journeys. We get 1 destiny point, so as of this time we have to add 1 to our die roll when checking for the paragraphs and the reaction matrix, but I think this is really something we can deal with at this point in time. We still want to move to Baghdad, so that's 1, 2 and 3, and now we have to deal with the city of Baghdad. And these are our 2 encounter cards, so we can face a thief or the hunchback. As I'm a huge fan of Anthony Quinn, I think I will give this guy a try. We are still in the morning, so I have to check out the paragraph 86. So again, we have to roll our die, that's a 5. We have to add 1 because of our destiny, so that's 6. So the hunchback would be disguised. And as I'm really curious why the hunchback would disguise himself, I think I will question him. So we have to roll our destiny marker. That's a minus, so we can subtract 1, or we have to subtract 1 from this paragraph here. So that's 2 for 4 in this case. You take the arm of the hunchback and speak to him. "Oh, please," he cries, "I do not appreciate your intentions and you endanger me with your attention. I am disguised to avoid scrutiny and you will bring danger upon me." Still, we cannot use any skills at this point in time, so no skill section. The other disengage from your grasp and rushes off. Okay, we gain 1 destiny point and 1 story point, and that's basically it. So that's 1 story point and 1 destiny point. Additionally, we can finish our quest here. When you return to Baghdad and remain after an encounter, which you just did, you visit with a relative gives you an idea of where to search in your house. And therein you find gold, jewels and wondrous artifacts. So we gain 1 destiny point, 1 story point and 3 levels of wealth. And this is awesome, so we can reach maximum of rich and we find a treasure as well. Wow, that's really perfect. So we gain 1 story point. Again, we would be allowed to gain a talent, which I will do in any second. We gain 1 destiny point, so we now have to add 2 to the encounter roll. We gain up to 3 levels of wealth. Maximum would be rich, so in this case this is only 1 space ahead, but still we are doing good. And this would be our artifact, the celestial planisphere. During the encounter phase you may draw 2 cards and take the one you want. I already can do that, and I don't want to go through the deck too quickly, to be honest. Discard the other. Alternatively remove the blah blah blah. So I can destroy a city except Baghdad and Mecca. No player can ever enter that city, but you can move through it. I think of course I have to keep it because it gives me 1 wealth level, so whenever I lose 1, for example, I can still use it to upgrade my wealth level again. So for now this is definitely fine. It will help me to actually win the game. So we managed to fulfill our first quest. We will put that here face down next to our player board, and of course we would be allowed to draw our next quest, and this would be King of Thieves. As a child you were fascinated by your father's stories of legendary thieves, pirates and rogues, but upon reaching adulthood he revealed that he was himself the self-same King of Thieves. He wants you, his eldest, to complete an epic theft he never attempted himself, claiming the 2 gems called the Eyes of the Lamia from their hiding places. Have another player place 2 of your quest markers in different cities. When you reach one of them, instead of your normal encounter, you may choose to encounter a person of matrix A, B, and C, and then we have to deal with that accordingly. In this case, there are no other players, but the solo rules have a solution for that. And this says, in all cases where another player is supposed to be designated to make a decision, lose 1 story or destiny point of your choice and make the decision yourself. In this case, that's pretty clear. I will lose 1 destiny point and will place 1 quest token here and 1 quest token there. So I can really do that in 3 turns, taking out these 2 quest artifacts. It's not that easy, so I have to really be careful about that, and then I have to return to Baghdad accordingly. Actually, I don't have to return to Baghdad to claim my reward here, so I think I'm already fine when I've found the second eye already. And this brings me to the end of my playthrough for today. During the next episode, I think I will take care of the quest in order to gain some more wealth, and hopefully I will be able to lose my status card, the grief-stricken status card, because it really limits me so much. But at least I don't have to take too many decisions at this point in time, because yeah, I always can go to the no skill section of any encounter, which can be nice as well. I really hope you enjoyed my playthrough so far. I'm really enjoying this game a lot. I like these storytelling galps. I'm also a great fan of Agents of Smersh, so I was really looking forward to record this session of Tales of the Arabian Nights. I hope to see you soon in one of my next episodes, and until then, bye bye.